to Sonia's Book Talk. It is March, so I thought I would talk about Irish authors. So I'm talking Irish authors, not Irish American, but from Ireland. And there's kind of a stereotype that a lot of Irish authors are depressing, and there are a lot of those out there, but there's a variety. They're not all depressing, so I'm going to talk about a couple, and a couple of them you have maybe heard of because they have movies made out of their books, but I'm going to start with the one who's probably the least known of these three. She doesn't have a movie deal yet. Her name is Edna O'Brien. So I'm going to talk about the Country Girls trilogy. Now, she has a new book that came out last year even, that we have, but I'm going to talk about this one because I really love this one. It takes place in Ireland. It's two girls who are at the convent boarding school, and they get in trouble, and the one girl, Baba, she's the one who's more worldly wise and rebellious. Not that she's bad, she just doesn't like all the strict rules of the convent, so she pulls Kate along. Kate's her friend, and they get into a lot of trouble, but it's humorous, but it's also, the writing is really, really good and descriptive, and there's a lot of depth to it. Edna O'Brien has been writing since the 60s. She's been publishing, and she's known as a literary author. So she's very poetic, lots of description, a more leisurely read. So you have to be in the mood for this kind of thing. It's fun to read the fast-paced, plotty books, but sometimes you need like a more nourishing, beautiful writing, so because it nourishes your soul. So I also wanted to point out we have her selected stories here, which is great because if you don't have time to read a whole novel, you can just pick a story or two and read it right before bed. It looks big, but you don't have to read all of it because it's stories. So Edna O'Brien, an author you should know from Ireland. The next one I'm going to do is Brooklyn by Colm Toibín, Irish author. This was made into a movie not too long ago, so you might recognize the name. I really loved this book. I read it before the movie. This was actually my favorite book of 2009. So even though it's been made into a movie, and some people have probably heard of it, I've always wanted to do this on a book talk because this was, like I said, one of my favorites. So whether or not you've seen the movie, I would recommend this book. It's about a girl from Ireland, 1950s. She's sent over to America because in Ireland at that time there weren't a lot of jobs. The economy wasn't great. So she comes over here, gets a job. She has to deal with homesickness, she's alone by herself. There's an Italian young man who falls in love with her, starts to court her. And so she starts to make a life here, like any good immigrant / coming of age story. There's the ups and downs, but then she gets called back to Ireland, and when she gets there, there's actually, things have looked up. She has some prospects there, so then she has to, she's looking at her old life in Ireland versus her new life in America. So this was really well written, and like I said, it was my favorite book of 2009. I don't want to give too much away. This cover isn't the best, but it's full of kind of inspiring and kind of just life. There's just so much of her experiences that are brought to life. So I recommend that. And we also have his newest book here, if you want to take a look at that. So the third book I'm going to do is Room by Emma Donoghue. Also was turned into a movie, which I haven't seen, but I'm going to recommend the book today. So the book, the first thing you have to know is the narrator is a 5-year-old boy. So if you don't know that going in, you're gonna say like, what's going on here? Today I'm 5. I was 4 last night, going to sleep in wardrobe, but when I wake up in bed in the dark, I'm changed to 5. Abracadabra. So that's the tone going in, but you have to know that there's a specific reason why we need to only see this 5-year-old's point of view. So he's in this room and with his mom and with television and with his toys, but he never leaves this room. So we're finding out that it's a situation where they're kind of held captive, but he's not so much aware of that because he has his mom, and then there's just this weird guy called Old Nick that comes around once in a while. So it's there's a scene that builds a climactic scene of where they tried to escape. And then, I don't want to give too much away, but at the end when they're finally out, it's all about he's never been in the world before. And that's the part I really enjoyed. There's so many things that he gets his first cold because he's never been exposed to germs before. And he meets his grandma for the first time. And so, don't want to give too much away, but it's a different read. It's a 5-year-old narrator who is in this room, but give it a try. I don't want to give too much away. I know I said that already. Room by Emma Donoghue, and she also has new books that we have here, which I really want to read. There's just so many books all the time, so many books. So these are the Irish authors for today, and come in and check some of these books out. See you next time.
If you enjoyed this video, please like the video and subscribe to the Stickney-Forest View Public Library's YouTube channel. Also, like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The Stickney-Forest View Public Library District, where great things happen.